Oh my goodness. Hey, do I have something to say? Woohoo! My buddy, my pal, Kat O'Sullivan is coming in from Mexico. Woo! I love this woman. I freaking love this woman. I met her at HPS grad and was sitting next to her. We'd always sit in the same seats next to one another and just felt. Do you have those people that you just fall in love with instantly? That is Kat. Yay! Woo! I was bragging about you.
All right. Well, we actually made it on.
I was saying that you were one of those people, we would always sit in the front row of heroic public speaking, and we just instantly got along. And I just fell in love with you and your story and what you do. And I thought, eventually, we're going to chat live on Hey, I Got Something to Say. And
Well,
here you look gorgeous, by the way.
excited to be here. It's a beautiful day in paradise.
And like I said, you do look amazing. You do, Kat. You're glowing everywhere. So Mexico definitely agrees with you.
It does. Never in a million years did I think we'd do this, but here we are.
All right, we're going to get into that more, but let me just tell them a little bit about you. Kat is a keynote speaker who inspires audiences to finally ask themselves, what else is possible in my life? A speaker, trusted advisor, I did not know this, trained improv artist, and educational entrepreneur. Kat has spent decades doing the seemingly impossible. The seemingly impossible. That's a key word, seemingly. And to doing it over and over again. Today, Kat helps audiences move toward the future that's been just waiting for them to say yes to those new possibilities. So, before we get all into it in the one line, Kat, I have to ask you the big question that people asked over and over again, and there's going to be a lot of backstory. When they heard you move to Mexico, they wanted to know, did your husband go willingly or kicking and screaming? That was the big question, because they're all thinking, well, maybe, but my husband or my wife would be like, no way, Jose.
So the four dreaded words that my husband hears is, I have an idea. And then, yeah, one more, hi, I have an idea. Like, what if we packed up and moved to Mexico? And you can imagine the look on his face. It was like, what? What? And then he had been in our home for 38 years. I'd been there 28. So this was about our forever home. You know, we did not imagine pulling stakes and moving, let alone moving to a foreign country. So he did come willingly, but I will say it was a little shocking. And it took him a while to adjust, but it was great. Like, we just had our 1 year anniversary, and he said, you know what? I have no regrets. So that was like, oh, you know, thank God, you know, because it would not have been a good thing if it was something else, you know.
So as you can see, the one thing I said, well, what do you want to tell the women around the world and men listening? It's okay to what you want, even when you or others think it's crazy or seemingly impossible. So I want to dive into that a little bit more, Kat, because as my girlfriends told me last night when I was talking about you, they said, yeah, Sandy, on paper, that sounds good. We know it. Like, it's okay. Don't listen to the naysayers, block it out, follow your heart. But when it comes down to it, what most of the women said last night, now they were 2 glasses of wine in, so let's keep that in mind.
Oh. Yeah.
It's harder for them, the naysayers of their family, the people they really respect and love. So, did you tell many people before you did it? Or did you just go, I'm going to tell my husband and then we're leaving and then I'll tell everyone else?
Well, what I would say is we did not ask their permission.
Ooh.
Okay. So
Okay.
we made the decision, and there was a very good reason for making the decision. And, when we shared that, it helped them. That being said, it was a bit shocking.
Yeah.
You're moving where? Just the idea. I never thought I would ever move to Mexico. I had all kinds of preconceived ideas about what, Mexico was like and all the media. When I did all my endless research about Mexico, I just found out that so much of that just wasn't true. And so here we are. But yeah, people were shocked.
Yeah.
They were like, say what? You got to be kidding me. At this point in your life, you're going to pull up roots and move to a foreign country with a foreign language that you do not know, and we did not come down here before we made that decision.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, so I'll say it again. We made the decision to do this having never come down here. We did come, 3 weeks before we moved, we came down to find a rental.
That's good.
Yeah. But, we made the decision based on all the research and feedback and, checking things out. But we did not come down here, which was, at the time I didn't actually think about it because I've done so many crazy things. But once we got here, I'm like, oh, this was pretty wild. Yeah.
Did you do a virtual tour?
Well, sure. We saw a lot of videos and, we looked at homes and, I did extensive research and I, saw videos of people who had made that move, who liked it, who didn't like it. I did my research. We just didn't put boots on the ground until 3 weeks before we moved. All of our furniture is being picked up. The few things that we were taking were being picked up as we got on a plane.
Yeah.
Here.
All right, Kat. So let's talk a little bit about, you said they understood why you were moving when you explained it to them. So give us a little background of what was that push? Like, yeah, we're out of California.
Yeah, well, California is a whole nother story, but the reason, come on, California is, anyway. So when COVID hit,
Okay.
So COVID hit, right? Because know that we moved in the middle of a global pandemic.
Oh, I know that, Kat.
So when it hit, my business just kind of disappeared, and trying everything, thinking about what I would do differently, and then I had this aha moment of maybe this is a good thing. All this disruption, it actually made me step back and think about, is this really what I want to be doing for the rest of my life? And, I tell people, my husband asked me this innocent question. I'm sitting at my desk, I'm frustrated, and he's like, can I get you anything? Because he's such a nice guy.
Oh.
And my immediate thought that I did not say out loud was, I want a new life. Now that just took my breath away. He's so supportive. He's, I wouldn't even go. But it took me days to be able to share that with him. And so the reality on top of me saying, is this a time when I get to choose what I want? Back to your original question. And factor in the fact that Michael is 18 years older than I am. He's been retired for a long time. He has a life, I have my work, never
Yeah.
get to meet.
Yeah.
And thinking, how much more time do we have together? And, how are we going to create a life where we are able to do the things that we love together rather than, two separate?
Yeah.
And that was really the impetus. I mean, I woke up one night just in a total sweat thinking about that. And I'm like, we can't afford for me to retire. And then I asked the question, but what if I could? I had no idea how that would be possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just asking that question, like, okay, what if it is possible? What would that look like? And it's magical when you ask a question like that. You start seeing things that you didn't see before. You connect dots. And I saw this article about this woman that moved to Mexico living on $1,200 a month. And I'm like, what? $1,200 a month? We could do that.
Sign me up, baby.
My trigger for checking out Mexico. Now, she lived in the Yucatan where I would never want to live. It's too hot, too humid. But, I started researching and I found Lake Chapala, which has the best climate in the world, one of the best climates in the world. It's like 72 to 75 degrees year round. And then I started doing research on the economics. I found, we could live on one of our Social Security checks. I'm like, hello. So I wasn't ready to formally retire.
No, I get it.
To retire from what I was doing so we could have a different life. So here, and it's been amazing. We love it. We love the culture. We love the people. I'm learning the language bit by bit. Thank God for Super Duolingo, We've made amazing friends. We've got an incredible support system. We're getting good medical and dental care at a fraction of the cost.
Oh.
It's been great.
Kat, the more and more I'm out and about and meeting different women, over and over again, I hear the same stories of, I'm not happy, or this isn't working, or my family doesn't like it here. But it's more the devil they know than the devil they don't. They're afraid to leave what they have and what they know versus taking the risk to have an even better life. So this was so relevant for all these people. I'm going to send it, if they're not watching live, to all of them. I met so many women that said, it's okay. I don't mean they're miserable, but it's okay.
Well, let me ask you this. So what if you are living your legacy right now? I'm asking that not just to you, but to those.
No, I get it.
So, the reality is this is a harsh reality. When we really think about it, we are living our legacy every moment of every day. And we're doing it either by design or by default. And most people, it's by default. So,
True.
status quo, just going along, doing what we've been doing. And, when you really stop to think, is this the legacy that I want to live, not leave? It's not about leave when you die. It's about what you're living out every single day. And, I've been one since I was 14 that said, I'm willing to do the seemingly impossible to have the kind of life that I want to have. Mm-hmm. And that word seems critical because, it's all between here. in terms of what's possible, what's not possible. And like I said, the minute I said, what if it is possible?
Yeah.
You know, everything changed. But we have to have the willingness and the courage to at least explore what else is possible. It all starts with courage.
Yeah.
And then it's all about getting clarity around what you really want and why it's so important to you. And that's such a obvious, simple thing to say, want what you want. But I know for me, my past, you know, gave me very different messages. So I had to be willing to say, it's okay for me to want what I want. And then figure out, what does that look like? Why is it important? Which is the only way that I was able to make that kind of a bold commitment to moving in this particular. And then it was just about, how am I going to build the capacity that I need to live this new life? You know, what are the things I'm going to have to be and do differently? What am I going to need to learn? You know, what new skills am I going to need to get? You know, and all those things just flow naturally once you make that commitment. Then it's just about details.
Yeah. You know, I hear Joy in the background. Do we need to give, where is she? Is she around?
Actually, that's probably a neighbor dog. She's lying beside me, just like total peace, you know. She's like, don't bug me, I'm having my nap.
I love the fact that Kat's dog's name is Joy. I'm just saying, maybe that's why we got along. I don't know. All right, so that is priceless, Kat. That is priceless. And I love the way you mapped it out. And the big question of what you're saying, though, is still coming through on my emails is, for most of them, I'm trying to go through because we're not going to get to them all, but for most of them, oh God, it makes me so upset, but I understand. Admitting to themselves what they want on paper means they're not happy now, and that's difficult for them. So how do we get beyond that? So it's coming in different ways, but they're all saying, if I admit that I don't like what I have now, then I have to do something about it, and that's scary for a lot of people. Then writing it down takes it to a whole nother level.
4-letter word, fear.
Yeah.
It's fear, you know?
Yeah.
And are we going to live our life in fear? Or, you said take a risk. I would ask the question, what if the biggest risk is not taking a risk?
Ooh, I like that. They like that.
I mean, you know, we only see what we are looking for. Let me say that again. We only see what we're looking for.
Eyes open. Eyes and ears open.
You know, once we ask that question, you know, what if it is possible? What does that look like? You know, for me, what would that look like, and why is it so important to me? Making that connection. It's not just what, it's what and why. Because that why has got to be, to overcome that fear, you've got to have a strong why.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you do, then I say it's a bold hell yes.
Yes, yeah.
Impossible. And yeah, it's going to be disruptive, and it's also going to be magical. Because when we follow our heart and we take that step of faith, we step out and we just do one step at a time, you know, we'll feel so much better knowing that we're working towards something, you know, and it's not like move to Mexico, you know, it could be any area of your life.
Yeah.
Just working, and you want to make a change. And actually, I said a word I'm going to use, which is change. Because the minute you hear the word change, what happens?
I never thought of that. I never thought of that.
Immediate resistance, whether it's something we're saying that we want to change or we hear the word change, it's resistance. So I'm a fan of, get on my soapbox, instead of change, it's about making a shift. Because a change suggests something is wrong, something's broken, something's got to be
fixed. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. We just need to shift, which is much more of a natural evolutionary movement, from where we are to where we want to be. We don't have to make it about this is wrong or broken or we have to fix it. No, it's like we're making a choice to follow our heart, to do what we really want, to be what we want, and to take steps. And it wasn't a leap of faith that was not without a lot of research. It was, well, I'm going to take this risk and I'm just going to jump. Well, I did a lot of research to get to the place that I was confident to say, let's do this.
Yeah. So Kat, I'm sitting here and I'm not putting it all together until just now. You were in the process of moving when I met you, right? Mm-hmm. So Kat decided to sign up for Heroic Public Speaking grad program to take her keynotes up to the next level, which is about a year program. At the same time you were moving to Mexico, so what is going on here?
Yeah, so I started the program like at the beginning of the year, and I went through the first semester, if you will, and then I just had this inkling that I needed to take a little bit of a break and step back before I did the second term.
Gotcha.
In July, we decided to move. In October, we moved. And I started the second term in December. So everything I had done in that first term, it was valuable. I learned so much. But the talk I thought I was going to be giving, gone. I had a whole new story.
Yeah.
So, things happen the way they're supposed to happen. I believe that. And, all I can say is here we are. We love it. It was one more seemingly impossible thing. And trust me, there were people that said it was crazy. And there's still people who say that was crazy.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't listen to them. I think once in a while I'll wake up and I'll think, what if I hadn't said yes to what I really wanted? What would my life be like today? And I know exactly what it would be like, and that's not what I wanted.
Oh, Kat. So, and there's a whole nother podcast. What that you just slightly mentioned is here you were going down a path for your speech.
Right.
And that was another really big moment that you listened to yourself, you listened to your heart and knew you needed more clarity and put holds on it and then change the whole thing around, which I think takes a lot of guts and courage.
It does. And I just keep thinking back to the very beginning of the program when we were told, if you want to have a transformational keynote, you have to be transformed.
Ooh.
Goosey's just saying that out loud, but this continues to be a transformation journey of, really listening to my heart, and making conscious choices every day to live my legacy.
Yeah.
So
Kat, you mentioned this 14, and have you been this way your whole life? Like you said, taking chances, doing the seemingly impossible. Did you come out of the womb this way?
Maybe I did. but the thing that really crystallized it for me at 14, well, by the time I was 16, I won't go through the backstory, but at 16, I had this incredible opportunity to travel the world with Up With People, which has a 2-hour performance, musical performance, that's about, positive unity, community, just a very positive, uplifting message. And I had seen a performance and dreamed of what would it be like to be part of that cast of 100 people. And so when they decided to start a high school cast, it had always been college.
Oh, okay.
And everyone said, there's no friggin' way. They're taking 100 kids from around the world and you think you're gonna get in? But I applied, I got in, and then my parents said, I'm sorry, we can't afford for you to be traveling, etc. And I was like, I'm determined to do this. So here goes. Pick up the phone, I call NBC Studios, and I say, hi, this is Kat. Can I speak to Bob? Now, I'm banking on the fact that my presumption is going to be magical here, okay? Because what I didn't tell you is this was Bob Hope I was calling. And I had seen him, he was an MC for one of their performances, and I had met him briefly. So miraculously, he was there. They put him on the phone, and he's like,
no, wait. They were just like, you want to speak to Bob? They didn't ask you like anything.
It was magical. All I can say is when we put it out there, things happen, right? So Bob gets, and he's like, this is Bob. Who is this? And I'm like, we met briefly at the, when you emceed the performance with Up With People. And, I was one of 100 kids chosen to be in their new cast. And I really want, I want this. I know it's going to transform my life, a chance to transform other people's lives, just like you did with the troops, when I used to go overseas and perform for the troops. And next thing I know, he wrote a check for the entire year. So that was, for me, I call it my Bob Hope strategy. It's like,
yeah.
ask for what you want, expecting it to happen.
Yes.
And it just taught me that lesson. And then, being on the road for my last year of high school, and then they invited me back for another year. So I did 2 years on the road, and I did much of the advanced PR work at 16 and 17 years old, being sent ahead of the cast to find host families, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, just that whole experience was about, doing the seemingly impossible.
Yeah.
And to be possible, and then doing the work, to walk it out. So ever since then, when I've walked into situations that I thought needed a shift, not a change. I thought about my Bob Hope strategy, and it's never failed me. I mean, I've done some monumental things that everyone said was impossible and crazy. It's a choice. We get to choose what we accept.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my favorite stories. Is Bob there?
Yeah, I mean, I
can see your parents' face when you told them, Bob's paying for the trip.
Well, I mean, I often think about that because it would have been so easy to just say, okay, I guess I don't get to go.
Absolutely.
Right? Or, to not pick up that phone and call.
Can you believe we're out of time, Kat? I'm sorry, people. I can't get to all the questions, but they love you. You're big inspiration. They can reach out to you. Don't worry. And for those who are saying, I didn't get to watch the whole thing, I'm going to record this and put it on all the platforms as well as my website, and Kat will be able to share it. But before we go, Kat, tell them every which way they can find you and hire you. I don't want to do that. Come on, people.
So my email is kat@katosullivan.com. And, well, that's my email. My website, obviously, is katosullivan.com. And on my website, you can see a little promo of my new keynote, which gives you a little bit more insight about what I'm talking about. I'm also on LinkedIn and Facebook if you just look for Kat O'Sullivan. But, you know, the best way to get me is direct, you know, send me an email.
Yeah.
And let me know the best way I can get back to you, and I will.
Cool. Very cool. Anything we didn't want to get in that you want to say to the world? Anything?
Ask for what you want and believe that it's possible.
Well, that's a good note to end on, Kat. All right, my hey, I got something to say. I'm on. Kat had something to say and then some. We would really appreciate it, even if you just know one person that could benefit from this podcast, to share it, like it, rate it. It means so much. We love you. Thank you for supporting women around the world. The power, I can feel it. I can feel it coming through the internet. And until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Bye, Kat, and toodles.
Bye.